What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Before we get started on today's video, I just want to quickly address something. So the compressor is almost full at its maximum 155 psi. I have the shutoff and I have a rapid air max line regulator. So the regulator is set up at 80 psi. That's how much I have, just maximum going to the airline. Inside the garage, the air supply comes through here, through the whip hose. And then I have another water separator right here. And I also have a dryer. This is a desiccant dryer. And then the full 80 psi runs through the hose. Here's my spray gun. And underneath, I'm using the 3M airflow control valve. And on the gauge, normally I set my pressure between 22 and 24 psi. So between 20 and 30, you'll see 4 small lines in between. So each of those small lines is about 2 psi. So between the first and second small line, that's where I normally have it. So opening the air pressure just a little bit. So it goes up to 80, which is what I have my regulator set at the main tank. So I have 80 psi coming from the line. So that's max. And to regulate, squeeze the trigger slightly. And we can adjust from here. (22 to 24 psi). Maybe it sounds louder when it is close by the camera. I went ahead and brought another regulator. This is an Ingersoll Rand, 1/4 inch. So this is almost the same thing. We have the gauge on this side. We have the body on this side with the valve. And we're gonna see how it works, how it sounds between the two. This is 22 psi right here. All right, 24 psi. So let me go ahead and change this out. Okay, here's the new regulator. Let's take a quick look at it. One thing we'll notice that the lines are more spaced apart. Instead of between 20 and 30, now it's between 20 and 40. So every small line is 5 psi. So 20, 25, 30, 35, and then 40. So yeah, if I wanted to run the usual 22 to 24 psi, I'd have to be between 20 and this first small line. But it doesn't have to be set like that. I could also just open up the fluid to whatever I'm comfortable with, and then just open up the pressure based off of the droplet size atomization. Too heavy in the droplets, open up the pressure till you get a perfect line. And if that line begins to become blurry, just you're running too much pressure, close it down. So we understand how to adjust the spray gun. This is just a reference, so that's how it sounds at same 22, 24 psi. Yeah, so what I'm trying to say is it's not the regulator that made this paint get a little texture. I wouldn't fully blame it on myself, but I've had these results with the same paint, and previously, if you guys remember on some of my experiment videos, that I used this base coat. I wasn't really liking it, so most of the time I would use Rust-Oleum as a base and then do my experiments instead of, I had this full gallon here. But I'm totally cool with it. I'm not even tripping about it. I fixed the issue. I sanded it down with the super acrylics. The base is, it's a ground coat. We still have the inner coat, which I'm perfectly confident that it is going to work out fine. This, I already had in the top of my head that it might do this, so it did, and I fixed it. There's nothing serious going on with the body as far as, small rock chips or imperfections. Uh, we're not going to SEMA. This is just at home DIY. And, today we're doing the Intercoat with the pigments from Eye Candy. I hope you guys are enjoying the content. There's not much I can do about the last video or the PSI or whatever, but I can still give you guys a good video so you guys can enjoy and watch. So let's go ahead and just continue. So here's the Intercoat that I'm using. This is by Eurochem. And this one mixes on a 2-to-1 ratio. So 2 parts Intercoat, 1 part reducer. So total you should have 1.5 gallons ready to spray. I bought a gallon of reducer just to have a little bit extra, but I'm not gonna need the whole thing. Medium temp. Right here on the side it also tells you mix 2 parts of the Intercoat Clear with 1 part reducer. And apply 2 to 4 medium coats with a 50 to 75% overlap, allowing 10 to 15 minute flash in between coats. So, like I said, total you have 1.5 gallons ready to spray, but we don't need that much for this car. But here I have a pitcher that I bought off the dollar store, but it holds 1 gallon. And what I'm going to do is go ahead and mix 2 quarts of the Intercoat with 1 quart of the reducer, totaling 3 quarts. So I should be 96 ounces ready to spray. And as far as pigments, so over here I have some pigments by Eye Candy pigments. And the color is called Geisha Doll. And this is an interference pigment. So it's a color shift from blue to purple. And there's a few colors in between. But this is the one we're going to use. Each of these jars is 25 grams. Now on the test panel that we did, experimenting with these colors, I did about 50 gram ratio per sprayable gallon. And seeing it over the past couple of weeks, I think it just needs a little bit more because it needs to be more radiant. So I'm going to go ahead and double it up. On the test panel, 50 gram per gallon is about 12.5 grams per quart. So this time I'm going to double it up to 25 grams per quart. So I'm going to use 3 of these jars. So 75 grams for 3 quarts. Basically, it's 100 grams per gallon. But so yeah, that's the pigments. That's the Intercoat. Where I'm going to mix it, I have a mixing cup. This is a quart, so I can just go ahead and just measure 2 of these Intercoats, 1 with reducer, mixing stick, and just I'll show you guys the pigment. Here's our first jar, Geisha doll. Each of these is 25 grams. Here's the pigment. Second jar. This is the third jar of Geisha doll, 25 grams. So we have 50 plus 25. Here's a 75 grams. Just make sure to stir this very well. This is 75 grams of pigment to 3 quarts. Pretty dense, but in layers. We'll be able to see the color. So, ready to spray 3 quarts. All we have to do is just filter into our spray gun. Every time we need a refill, just go ahead and mix it. Filter into the spray gun, keep going. So, I'm just going to cover it with its original lid.
Alright, so same settings. About 22, same fluid, same fan pattern, everything. I'm going to go ahead and start with the edges, and then I'll do the full panel. Okay, so excuse my breathing. I have you guys right here next to the mask. If I sound like Darth Vader for some, I want to show you guys a little bit up close painting. Just a quick burst like that. Man, I hope I was aiming at least. That's what you gotta do sometimes. So while the powder, the flake, or the pigment doesn't settle, shake it, and then you put your breather back on. Now we're ready to go.
Okay, so this is the first coat, and this is just to get the color started, also like to create some adhesion between the base coat and this mid coat, the Intercoat Clear. So this, I went ahead and sprayed everything with, I would say, roughly about 30 ounces. Um, one full coat. I arranged the panels, bring them closer together. That way, on this coat, I already went ahead and did all the edges all the way around the whole car. And like I said, I brought the panels together. That way I can just paint everything, just continue without having to go back and everything. Maybe just move the camera. But I'm going to confuse the pigments a bit back here. I already went ahead and did the second coat as well. So now it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. Very beautiful. And down here as well. So basically, like from the side panels, that's where I should begin. Not a hard line, but just feather it from this quarter panel. Just bring it and actually work it forward around the front end and come back to the other side. That's how I can and then since I already started from the top to the bottom, I'll just bring it from the bottom to the top. Just make sure everything gets covered. All right, so total I did 2 coats and I still had almost a quart left. So it was about a full cup and a half. So I went ahead and sprayed those just like a control coat or drop coat. Right now I have the hood just here. I was just checking just like colors, making sure that they're even. I sprayed everything equally, so they should. Here's the hood. And the color is Geisha doll. It's a blue to purple. So any color in between. Um, there's a reddish tone to make the purple with the red and blue. So everything came out all right. So next up, or finally, is the clear coat. I have a brand new gallon and activator. It's the same one as this one. It's the Besney. It's a 4-to-1 mix, so 4 parts clear coat, 1 part activator. And I think it's the same medium, but I'm going to go ahead and just reduce that one. On that one, I am going to use the PPS cups. Just 16 ounces of clear coat, 4 ounces of hardener, makes it 20 ounces. So, and I can spray each panel individually. They don't have to be all together. So that's the final step. Done spraying the second coat. Everything's looking pretty good. I did it off camera just so I can have a little bit more room to, continue spraying, refilling the gun, continue spraying without worrying about the camera. The second coat came out a lot better, a lot more reflection, and yeah, all the parts came out very nice. 2 coats clear. I'm gonna let these parts just sit in here and dry. Tomorrow I'll take these parts out. I'll work on the car. Whatever other parts that I need to paint a few plastic parts just in black. But everything came out nice. That's the Pigment Geisha doll by Eye Candy Pigments. Like a blue and purple, slight red, and I think there's like a golden color as well. But the Intercoat by Eurochem worked like a charm. I never had a problem with this brand. My truck, Vexy, is painted with the royal blue. This brand The Ford Ranger we painted with the Molten Orange Pearl, this brand. And I had a few scooters, the Lambo Lime, and there was a Purple Passion Pearl, also by Eurochem. So good brand, good products. These I've used and always just good quality. As far as the Clear Coat Besney, pretty good as well, inexpensive. Found it on eBay, very low price. It's a 4-to-1. Here's the hardener. No reducer required. It's very good. Gives you a nice glossy finish. Stretches out very nice. And yep. So, like I said, I'm just gonna let these parts dry in here, and then tomorrow I'll take them out, let them get some fresh air, some sunlight, and yeah. You guys leave some comments. Let me know what you think. We'll assemble it on the next video. So be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you then. Peace out.